What's up, everyone out there? What up, Rob? How you doing? Hey, yo, Rob, what's goody, baby? Can you hear me
What's
loud
up,
and
everyone
clear?
out there?
Sounds good. Is it cracking? Is it sounding good? Does it sound loud? Is it loud enough? Is what I want. So if you can hit me up real quick, Rob, and let me know. Good, good. It sounds great. Great. So I'm gonna let a couple people join in, and then we're gonna break down the show. If you're tuning in here at Round One Sports Talk, like always, I am your host. I will be covering and going over some of the biggest fights and some of the hottest topics going around in boxing today. Like always, if you tune into this show, um, sit down, grab your popcorn, and let's have a great show. So there's a lot of talk about the Devin Haney Ryan Garcia fight. What's up? All right, tuning in. You know you're always with us. You know what I mean? Tune in Sports Talk. Back at it with another one, Rob. That's right. They perfect. Okay. So the Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, the little back and forth about whether or not Ryan Garcia is trolling or anything like that, right? My biggest question now that I started really to like break it down in my head, is why isn't it Subriel Matias considered to be an alternate in a fight like this, right? So I started really breaking it down. I started asking myself the questions, and the thing is, because Subriel is actually doing Subriel Matias things. He wants to bring a fight to Puerto Rico. Um, you ever hear the expression the stars have to line up just right in order to get that fight sometime? Well, this seems to be one of these cases with Devin Haney and Subriel Matias. Their schedules are gonna have to align, you know, uh that way they can meet each other in the future. One guy can wait for the other a couple months as long as they agree to fight one another. I think that the Subriel on a standby would be a lot better than Barboza, but when you think about it, Subriel Matias is a IBF champion. He's not a standby kind of guy. You see what I'm saying? You don't you don't voluntarily put a champion on standby. But if the opportunity was to seriously present itself in the back and behind closed scenes, I would have put my name in the hat. Now we don't know if that's exactly what's going on. Like Subriel could be saying, "Look, you can be showing Barboza doing whatever, but if this Ryan kid really, you guys don't believe in him, I'll take his place, but let it be known so that I can get prepared." You see, but you don't really take a Subriel kind of Matias fighter and put him in an empty chair at a Ryan Garcia Devin Haney fight. If I was Ed Hearn, I wouldn't do that neither. So I could see from the outside, looking in, how that would look. How desperate is Subiel here, right? Now, daring to be great, a lot of people will try to flip that on him in that kind of situation. But make no mistake, Subiel's that man. Okay, so we're not bringing him up or talking about him because he's not him. Oh, he is him. And a fight with Devin Haney, whether now or later, that's what we will want to see. That's the fight I want to see in that division right there. Tio's name does come up because he's still the IBO champion, and you got to give him a champion's respect. He slid by Ortiz through a small margin there, right? But you got to give him his respect. He is the champion now. As a Rolly and Pitbull Cruz, Look, that's why when you got a guy moving up in weight and you got a guy being brought up to a division that he really does not fight in, this is not his division, right? For instance, let's just say in a good world, Jermell Charlo beats Saul Canelo Alvarez for those four belts. Let's say he wins that night. Is he prepared to defend the 168-pound titles? No. You see, you got guys sticking their nose in business that they actually don't have any intentions on being that champion there. Now, Esau Pitbull Cruz is a type of fighter. He wins that belt. He'll stay there. He just doesn't belong there. No, he doesn't. You know, um, you know, some of these men and women take these fights because it's their only opportunity to win a world title. But what happens when you pull it off? Now you got to defend that belt. And there's always going to be those guys that you're going to be like, shit, these guys just a little too big. Well, you should have been in our division. If Jamel Charlo pulled that upset against Saul Canelo Alvarez, you know how many fighters would have signed up to fight him? Come on. You see? So, look, I think they're gonna prepare Ryan Garcia to show up to this fight to Devin Haney. I believe they don't have to say another word. They already have the storyline they want to present when he loses. Am I right? They don't have to do nothing else. Nothing else. They're gonna automatically say that Ryan wasn't in his right state of mind going into that fight. And there's gonna be his out to try to keep his star status once again on one of these ploys, not really exposing these guys for the fighters. They are not. Ryan Garcia is trying to get credit for being a real boxer. And I'm sorry to tell the public out there, he's just not that. Well, he's not really dedicated. Anyone really can be a boxer. It doesn't mean that you're a great boxer, a good boxer, an elite boxer. You're just a boxer. How good are you? Right? I believe this far in Ryan Garcia's career, he should be a lot further along. But he's not, is he? They want to give him the credit of the type of fighter Devin Haney is. And I don't think that's right. I think Devin Haney has busted his ass in and out of those gyms and has given the hard work and dedication in and out of those gyms to become the fighter he is. And all Ryan got to do is bat his eyelash, slick his hair back, and go like this. And all of a sudden, and all he has to say, I'm the best. And oh, Ryan said it. He's the best. That's fucked up. Sometimes they overlook your hard work and dedication and what you have achieved. There is no way on God's green earth that if we would just take one step back and look at this matchup just for what it is on paper, I was to blindfold you and just read out their resumes, you would say, hell no. That guy should not be fighting that guy. He's not qualified. Ryan Garcia has never, and I repeat, never fought for a world title. Not one. Devin Haney's a two-division world champion and unified all four belts in one division already by the age of 24 years old. He did some shit, but yet they're categorizing Ryan Garcia in the same conversation with a fighter like Devin Haney. And here we are. And here we are. Now that we're here, this is what we're getting out of Ryan Garcia. This is what we're getting. Ryan Garcia decides that he wants to be the world's savior. I get it. There are bad things going on in this world, Ryan Garcia. but this is your job, and you have an obligation because we're actually paying to see your fight. You have an obligation to your fans, to the sport, because while you're in the sport, remember, you represent the sport. So everything you're doing while in the sport, it affects the sport. And Ryan Garcia, he needs to get his act together. But you ever hear, right? And I know sometimes they say it and you just the matchmakers, whenever you hear that and they say, well, the matchmakers put these guys together and they feel that this is going to be a great match. Little horse, I was watching the game yelling. So the matchmakers put the fights together, right? Okay. If the matchmakers see that the Vegas odds really start to, you know what I mean? And then they're like, this fight might not sell, right? Then they might look for an alternate. Ironically enough, all this crazy shit is selling tickets. The fight is actually selling. All you need is Ryan to show up. You see? Because the fight is taking off with all this crazy shit. I'm like, shit, right? So it is doing pretty good from what I'm hearing. But now I've seen a lot of these ploys in boxing where they announce the fight is selling, it's doing great. It's actually and in the back scenes, it's actually tanking, right? But they're not telling you that. They're saying, "Yo, it's selling mad out. Is it? Yo, quick, come buy your tickets, right?" Two, right? From my experience, and I look, I don't mean to like, you know, turn on everybody's conspiracy theory hat on right here, right? Okay, but I just want to, throw this out there, okay, for all my conspiracy theory people, okay? Every single time you see the odds fluctuate on a fight where like this guy's like an 8-1, right? Or the odds are like ridiculous. Then all of a sudden some bullshit starts happening, and it's kind of like they're going a sleight of hands. Look over here. Don't pay attention to what I'm doing over here. You understand? Right? Then all of a sudden, that the guy that was supposed to win loses or gets knocked out. And all of a sudden, like the bookies took a hit, like the fix was in. You know what I mean? And when when you see situations like this, right, you're like, could the fix be in right now? Will David Haney lay down for like 30 million? Nah, Devin Haney wouldn't allow this dude to knock him out. Are you crazy? Yo, I've seen crazier shit, right? So I start to think of that shit and I says, nah, 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 nah. That shit's crazy. That shit's crazy, right? Because for as much as animosity, if it could have been anybody else, like a hereditary unknown, I would think like something's funny here, right? But being the fact that it's actually Ryan Garcia, like his buddy he went in, nah, he ain't gonna take a dive to him. That would be embarrassing for him. Yo, they'll be old on the porch. Ryan be like, remember the time I knocked you? Yo, he'll never let it go. You couldn't pay me enough money to take a dive to Ryan. Fuck you. Hell no. Right? So I was like, nah, that ain't gonna happen, right? So, you know, the odds on this fight are fluctuating in Vegas. Everybody's taking this shit like, and then there's I've seen other people's reaction to what Ryan's doing, right? And then you got this dude, Showbiz, right? He's all over the internet saying, Ryan's in the gym training hard as shit. They're saying this is, I don't know who's paying that man, right? But I'm like, Ryan's dad has to be paying him like directly. Like he was literally standing in the room while I was doing yo, because I was like, how could you look into the mic like that and say that? You know, even look, even if you were acknowledging his trolling, right? You would still have to acknowledge the trolling. That's a lot of effort. You mean to tell me Ryan Garcia can troll, do all this, go on all these podcasts, and train for a Devin Haney fight? Yo, that dude is a Superman. That dude is nice then. Like he must be training like, oh, no wonder he got a 5 o'clock shadow. Cause what he's doing is, oh, he's training to the wee hour. Get the fuck out of here. Get the hell out of here, bro. You crazy. Damn. Round one. Yeah, yo, it's facts, baby. It's facts. There's a lot of money, all right, on this fight. There's a lot of money. People have made reservations. People have booked hotels. People have put money on the fight itself. People have bought tickets, suites. People have catering companies catering their suites. Um, there's a lot of money like being fluctuated here as the fight gets closer and closer. Yes, um, you can't do that in this at this level in the game. You can't just pull out on a fight like this because promotional companies and networks are not going to fuck with you. That's a red flag on your career. And you think that pulling out on a fight is easy. No, people are pissed off. Some people are asking for their money back because you this is a problem. Going back to the bookie, talking about give me my 5 grand back. He ain't fighting. Bro, that's a problem. So we're at this level in the game, they gotta know that you're gonna show up. They gotta know, you know. And since Devin Haney's the favorite, right? It's not like you can put a shitload of money on Devin Haney and win a lot of money. Nah, it's gonna be like you gotta put $1,000 to win 250, some shit like that. You know, um. So at this level in the game, that's why I'm saying that if you can get a great alternate, for the fight, and you was to tell Subriel Matias, yo, do you want the fight? He is no longer an alternate. This is a fucking unification fight now. That's what it becomes. You are no longer putting Subriel Matias in a fucking empty chair out in one chair next to two fighters, having him talking shit to them on the stage. No, you don't have to put your fighter out there like that. No. But if that was the case and Ryan pulled out, and now you were to announce that, I think Subriel would take the fight. Yeah, I think he would take the fight. Oh, and I checked into a little bit on that. Well, I know they're all gonna say, yeah, he was in the gym. Come to think about it, when you go to check on the guy, yo, has he been in the gym? Yeah, he's been in the gym. Yeah, now that I think about it, I'm like, yeah, of course they'll say that, but they said that he has been. He has been in the gym. He's been, nursing that injury, coming back, and that he was anxious to get back in, and that he is, trying to figure out the situation in Puerto Rico. Who's he gonna fight? Where's he gonna fight? When's he gonna fight? Things like that. Ed Hearns is he's promoting a lot of boxers right now. He has a lot of boxing matches, and if you haven't noticed, like Ed Hearns, he's been everywhere. Every time I'm looking in a ring or something, he's becoming the Don King of the 2023 2024. I'm seeing him everywhere. Like every time I look up, he's like signing a new boxer. But he was rumored that he wanted to sign, in fact, Jerron Boots Ennis. Jerron Boots Ennis is in a crazy contract. You know, uh, Jesus, whoever got him to sign that shit. Man, did they have a gun to his head when he signed it? At least say that, you know. But the fact that it's promotional, the old man, he died. So now, like, the wife is trying to take over all the fighters, and she's not willing to let them go. She's like, "No, you're in a contract." And Jerron Boots Ennis is saying, "Yeah, but you guys never fulfilled your end of the contract that I signed." Meaning, I signed with you because you promised me at least 3 fights a year. Now, if in the first year I only fought twice, you didn't fulfill your obligation as a promotional company. So he goes on to the next year, and they didn't fulfill their, and then the third year they didn't fulfill, and then the old man dies or whatever. I don't know exactly what year it was in, right? He was in the contract, I mean, right? So, but that's basically what's going on. And she's like, "No, I'm not releasing you. You can't be promoted by any other promote. And matter of fact, you can't even fight without me." So that's where he is. He's in court trying to battle that and fix that up. Ed Hearn wants us to sign him, but Ed Hearn he knows he has the potential of becoming the next big stain, Jerron Boots Ennis, but he's just not that. You understand? That's just like an athlete, like, I don't know, um, a Conor McGregor, right? In the UFC. Here he is. They're giving like $6 million a fight, right? And there's these other UFC fighters that are starving, that are making $100,000 a fight, and they're saying, "Yo, Dana, we're tired of this. We want to get paid like Conor McGregor." Dana White turns around and says, "Well, then you need to sell Conor McGregor tickets. You want to get paid like Conor McGregor, but you're not filling up the arena like Conor McGregor is. So if you don't sell that kind of money and you're not fighting on pay-per-view, how the hell am I going to pay you like Conor McGregor? Do what Conor McGregor's doing, I'll pay you that." And it made sense. It made sense, right? I was like, man, that's true, I guess, right? So all these fighters are not making all this, kind of money and whatnot and stuff. But I know for a fact, right? I know for a fact, Subriel Matias sells. And the two places that most likely he will sell out the most on this planet is Puerto Rico and New York City. New York City is just another Puerto Rico, right? Those are the two places. And let me tell you, um, his fans, the Puerto Ricans, yo, they backing him. They're traveling with him. Did you see? Yo, I was like, yo, they got Puerto Ricans out there, wherever he fought out in some. Um, I can look up his record. I can see all his fights exactly where he fought at, right? But he was like in some, I don't know, Oklahoma, Texas, Kentucky, somewhere out there. I don't know where those places are, right? And I looked into the crowd, and it was just a bunch of and it was beautiful. It was beautiful to see. I was like, wow, man. They showing him love, man. They traveling with the man. And that's great because like them Irish dudes, they would travel with Connor. Y'all seen when he was doing his little thing, right? I know you guys are boxing fans, but I'm pretty sure you saw his little thing, right? Because it was pretty big. And there were a lot, like, you know, um, there were a lot of fans that follow their boxers, you know. Shit, they follow that man in Africa. Like you knew him, you know. Those are the legends, you know. Those are the big guys. Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's fans would follow him anywhere. Saul Canelo Alvarez's fans, they'll follow him anywhere. You know, you could put Saul Canelo, and the Mexicans are gonna show up and show out. They're gonna show that pride. You're gonna see the flags all in the crowds and shit. They show love for their fighter, and that's great. A lot of American fighters would, you know, sometimes we sit back and we rowdy, we crazy, and we're good, but sometimes our fans don't follow us. You know, America's becoming a place where it's real diverse, and then the people that are here don't realize you guys are Americans. That's what America is, a mixed race of people that we speak the American language. We're here, like, you know, except, look, I'm Puerto Rican and I will always Puerto Rican. I didn't have a choice. I came in the world that like that, and it was like an assembly line. Hispanic, your mom and dad were Puerto Social Security number, right? I didn't have a choice. It's not like I was like, let me pick who I want. No, right? It is what it is. But I am an American first. I was born here, and there's no way around it. There's no way around it. So I accept it, you know. And when our fighters like Terrence Crawford and some of the big name Devin Haney and shit and Tank Davis, the Americans are getting by Tank Davis, and they're supporting him too, and that's good, but they don't do it to all the fighters. No, they don't. It's hard to get a following here. Not like some fucking type of following that this guy got. He can't go outside in public in Japan right now. He can't. Manny Pacquiao was even worse. The mobs, it was just like waves of people crying and reaching out. They revered Manny Pacquiao like almost like a. I don't want to say a god because that would be going too a little too far, but like a king. Like and talk about going from rags to riches. He was a street boy, a street peasant in the Philippines, Manny Pacquiao. Out there, probably wearing the same shoes. They weren't even his shoes. One probably didn't even match. How long he trained in them same shorts when he was a kid. How long? Did he even eat after training? Sometimes he would have to fight just to eat. They would tell him, "Yo, you win this fight, we'll feed you." I swear to God, they did that to Manny Pacquiao. That's not even a lie. That's not a joke. I'm not making that up. That's true. They said, "You win this fight, we feed you," just like that. When he was a kid, yes. And Manny Pacquiao, um, you know, he was fighting with with everything to win. His back was against the wall. It was life or death. Um, he saw an opportunity to change his stars, and he went from. I'm talking about poor light conditions. I'm talking about no hot water. I'm talking about, you might have been shitting in a bucket. I'm talking that's where Manny Pacquiao fucking came from, bro. Talk about changing your stars. Yo, they fuck giving him the key to the city. They said you could run this bitch. Man, the heights that man, there's no describing it as a man. You could say what you want him as a boxer, whether you love or hate him, Manny Pacquiao, whether you can't deny where he got, where his skills brought him, and what kind of life boxing, the sport, was able to give to him. The wealth and the name, he changed his family name forever, forever. Yeah. And, Manny's Manny, he tried to help as many people as he can, but hey, you know, but yeah, there are special boxers. And like I was saying, I love when we get behind our boxers and really show them. There are a lot of young prospects coming up, Bruce Carrington being one of them. I really have my eye on him. Camille Moten. I would love to see more of him. Xander Zion, fighters like that. Gabe Flores, young Gabe Flores, once upon a time he was young with that baby face, right? Now it seems like he's growing up. He's a veteran in the game now, you know. He came up short against Luis Alberto Lopez in their fight, but he's going to enter the ring. The Vargas brothers, they're starting to make their way, but a group of brothers that you need to keep your eyes on, and I promise you, if they're anything like their middle brother, Abdullah Mason, let me tell you, if all five of those brothers look like that kid right there, woo! Boxing is in good hands, and it looks to be promising and very exciting. Dula Mason is really good. Really, really good. Listen, yeah, there's flaws in his game. Every fighter has flaws. There's things he needs to work on. Everybody can improve. But at the age that he's in right now, the way he's taking care of business right now, the reads that he's making in the moments in the ring, the way that he's dispersing his level of competition, in which the matchmakers that are making these fights, they're doing pretty good. They've given him pretty good tests up until this point. You know, let me read some of your messages. Can't imagine, bro. Like, yeah, like a modern day Bruce Lee of the sport. Yeah. Rob, come on, man, Rob. Don't be rocking Pacquiao like that. Pacquiao, Pacquiao was a legend. Of course he was. He got it out the mud. He did. What's up, brother? Calito? I tell you guys, you know what? Uh, you from Florida? That's what you're saying? Um, I tell you guys what though, right? Look, with with the rise of a lot of these young top prospects, at the ending closing of 2023, when I started to like really like look at it, and that's why I'm saying that 2025 is going to be a mega year. It's going to be a really big year in boxing, because when the smoke clears and settles at the end of this year, we're going to get our top prospects, and whoever's left standing, we're going to have some new champions, some old champions on their way out. And that's when the pieces are going to really start to move around in boxing. Okay. You're going to pretty much know where, like, what's Errol Spence Jr. gonna do? What's Terrence Crawford gonna do? What's Canelo gonna do? Those guys might be on their way out. What about the two Charlo twins? What's going on with them? Um, you know, um, Arthur Bene Arthur Benavides and Demetrius Bivol, they're gonna go into their showdown too. And if we can get Usyk and Tyson Fury finally in the ring, so at the tail end of this year, that's when a lot of things are going to start to come out. And 2025 is going to be an amazing year. A lot of guys right now in the media, as you can see, they're already attacking our young stars like Bruce Carrington. They're putting them on these interviews and YouTube channels and setting them up with like these questions. Yo, you think you could beat Naoya in a way? Like, bro, he's not even in my weight division. Why are and they start setting him up and saying, this guy sucks, doesn't he? Doesn't he? And like sometimes some of these young fighters gotta get like a media team or something, and to prepare them for these kind of questions. Young Camille Moten was set up and ambushed in an interview on YouTube one time, and I saw it. He looked a little confused and he wasn't quite sure what he should say. And he kind of just agreed with the guy. But you could see that that's what he was doing, you know. So sometimes, these guys are going to try to sell you these fights and throw names around. And the one thing in the sport of boxing that, I pay close attention to is when a fighter is stalling. He's not sure what he's going to do, but he wants to keep his name relevant, right? So all of a sudden, now you see him showing up at a fight and he starts to point at a guy in the audience, another boxer, fuck you, no, no, no. And they have no intention on fighting. None. But it it keeps both their names in the until he figures out what he's gonna do. That way his fans don't go elsewhere. They still stay by him, you know? And that's all just gimmicks and shit, and I've seen that a lot in boxing. A lot. Boxers do it all the time. And I guess, in the sport, yeah, when you don't want that, your name just to be out of the way. When fighters did that and didn't want to be a part of the drama, what happened? What happened when Jerron Boots Ennis stopped arguing with people online? What happened when Jerron Boots Ennis, after his last fight, he was quiet like a church mouse. People started not even. They were all still arguing, looking over here. They weren't even talking about him. You see how it's important sometimes for the fighter to attach his name to another fighter just to keep their name. Oh yeah, remember me? I'm over here. Because sometimes it's not up to the fighter. These promotional companies and networks, they're starting to get along now. Big guys. Hey, what's up? New subscriber in the house. Thank you for subscribing. Round One Sports Talk. There's a lot of big guys in the game right now that are jumping in, putting their in the Saudis. Ooh, now that right there is interesting. The way they're throwing around this money. Oh my God. I had a no, quadruple check it when they said they were going to offer him $79 million. Yo, I had it, 69 million. Yeah, I almost lost my mind. And that they gave Anthony Joshua 50 million and Francis Ngannou 20 million. Now, okay, I want to explain how contracts work. Some, so that you get a little logistics of what that means. It's just like a baseball contract or a football contract. When you see these players sign $120 million contract, they're not getting $120 million. They have the opportunity to get $120 million. And by incentives and bonuses, whether they make it to the playoff, does he meet his quota? Does he score the amount of points to get the other 25%? Or, that money is divided throughout what you do. It's just because you don't sign on the dotted line, now you can sit on the bench, throw farts, and say, I'm still getting paid. No, you're not. No, you're not. There's no owners in the world that are stupid like that. Nah, you don't get that like that, right? So when they're telling Francis Ngannou 20 million, and they're telling Joshua 20 million, I mean 50 million, unless you hear a key word like Anthony Joshua heard, will give you 30 million guarantee. That's a done deal. That's a done deal. That's 30 million in my pocket. I stand to make 50, but before I get in the ring, y'all got to give me that 30. That's guaranteed. I'll take that right now, right? Okay. That's where the promotional company comes in and they put up that 30 million. Them Saudis, they putting it up. What they banking on is that they sell pay-per-view shares and that people buy tickets to the fight. They fly in, buy tickets. Now, to some of these fights, if you're not aware, if you want to sit, I don't know, in the seventh row behind the Prince of Saudi Arabia, I'm pretty sure that ticket's going to cost you 50,000 on better. That one ticket, that one seat. Just probably 25,000. How much you think people would pay to be next to the fucking prince aside of them? And next to him, it's probably gonna be the soccer player there. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about? That Rod or oh my god. The soccer people will shoot me. He's like an Adonis in soccer too. Whatever his name is. Oh my god, I'll get it. It'll come in my head. I know it's like rolling around. Well, I don't know. Anyway, that soccer dude, that good-looking motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That Latin Superman. Him. He gonna be sitting next to the prince, and it'll probably be like Mad Legend. So I'm pretty sure those tickets is big money. You know what I mean? So what they're doing is they're banking that they'll make money back, right? Not like the Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou fight. With the Saudis, the money they put into that fight, there was no way on God's green earth they was gonna make a red cent back. You couldn't, not unless they sold like 100 million pay-per-view fucking uh sales. Like they would have had to break Mayweather's pay-per-view gate at Vegas 10 times over in order to recoup any money back. Yeah, they did this. It was impossible. They flipped the bill for where they boxed out in the desert. Check it out, right? Tyson Fury, if you don't know the storyline, Tyson Fury can't come to America. They took his passport because of the scandal with the mob people he was fucking with that were part of his promotional company. You don't know anything about it. After the video, you can go on YouTube and look into it. It's all out there for the world to see. This ain't no secret. Like, oh, what do you know? No, this has been going on for a long time. So Tyson Fury couldn't come to America, right? So the Saudis stepped in and they said, the place where we want to fight is booked. We don't have a venue. The Saudis said, check this out. We'll build you a fucking ring out in the desert with a hotel, everything attached to that motherfucker. AC, central air conditioning. We'll have that motherfucker hooked up. They was like, what? So Bob Arum, top rank, you know Bob Arum, right? He's been around forever. He's New York, right? So Bob Arum's like, if I was to build a boxing ring, a building like a Madison Square Garden type building, just to hold the boxing event. From the moment I told them to start, they put one brick, it would be about 3 years until that building is complete with all the glass in it, central air, elevators, swinging, everything. I'm talking escalators. I'm talking you got concession, your stands, clothes stores in there, because you're all going to sell more stuff than just boxing, right? Okay. These Saudi dudes built all of that plus a ring outside. Remember, leading up into the event, they didn't fight in the ring that Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou fought in. No one fought in that ring. No, all the co-main events and they fought in a smaller ring outside the building. You did notice that, right? Right? So when they went to the actual event, they went inside. Remember when Tyson Fury came out with the chair and all the fighters, everybody was inside of a building all of a sudden? You didn't notice that, right? So they were the only men to fight in that ring, right? So, okay, they built that in 3 months. That's how much money they got. Them Saudis built that building from nothing. It was just sand. They had them out there in the hot sun working like slaves. Bro, money, that's what money does, right? So they built that. They paid for the event. They paid for all the performers, all the light show, Everybody that went there, everybody that was invited there didn't have to pay for anything. The Saudis paid for all the flights, all the fame, the boxers to be an attendant. They flipped the bill for all of that, all their hotels. They were all guests. They had all of that shit. And like the prince was basically at the end when he paid for all that shit, he was basically like he said basically it was like a tax write off. That had no effect on the bank account. Didn't even know he spent that money. He's good. That's how much money that dude got, right? So when they're telling Anthony Joshua, yo, here's 30, right? So after the fight, what happens is the they're supposed to give you the money at the gate, at what they sold at the fight. So whoever's holding the venue or whatever, your promotional company, they get their cut, you get your cut. Then you get your cut from the pay-per-view. You get probably you're gonna get your first check is gonna be your biggest check. It's always your biggest check. And then your next check will come like every 30 days. Like there's people that around the world that don't have the chance to or the luxury to have to caught the fight and they come and they buy it the next day. Or there's people all around the world that do this all the time. And then they'll give you money from that. And the checks will be smaller and smaller until there's no more checks. And then that's how you have the opportunity of gaining that extra 20 million. You see, you stand depending on what you sell at the gate, how many tickets, how many seats you know you put you know you put asses in the seats, how many tickets you sell, depending on that, depending how many people buy your fight. Now you stand there. What they're telling you is you stand to make that much money. You don't always make that dollar amount. Not every basketball player, not every NBA player, not every when they say, "Yo, he signed $120 million contract." Great. Let's see if how much of that money he gets. And he don't unless that word says guaranteed. That the word guaranteed changes everything. But if you don't hear that word and they say, "Yeah, we're paying him 20 million," they can give you $3 million. Yeah. 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 That's why you ever hear those actors or like Chappelle or something, and people say like on BET or something, yo, this actor made 20 million. And then years later you hear the actor say, 20 million? Where's the 20 million at? Then you need to give me that because you guys are reporting that I got 20 million. Then give me the 20 million. At least if you're going to report it, I can just at least give it to me. Because sometimes some of that shit is bullshit, So, yeah. But yeah, guys, look, I like the idea that Subriel Matias would be an alternate to the Ryan Garcia fight. Um, I would really like to be a fucking fly on the wall in Ryan's house right now, because I want to know, are you really training that, and what does he look like? I just want to be a fly in the gym. I just want to sit back. I wouldn't even ask him a question. I would never have to ask a boxer anything ever. I read boxing, okay? I don't have to talk to you. All I got to do is take a chair, pull up, sit down, and watch you train. And I'll tell you. And I'll tell you where you're at as far as training, what your form looks like, what your footwork looks like, what I expect to see. And maybe you could impress me, show me something new. And I'll look at you, then jump the rope, then I'll watch you in the ring sparring, and then I'll be like, okay. And then from there, you can't. I don't automatically take all that information and say, oh, he's gonna win the fight. Nah, hell no, because he's still not in the ring. Then after the first round or the second round, when the feel process sometimes, right? Then I can tell you where his training is and how it holds up. fifth round, sixth round, I'll tell you how hard he trained. It'll start to show. You see, when he's doing what the coach is telling him, and he's mentally prepared. That's another part of your training. You feel me? You see? So it's not always because I've done that. I can't even tell you how many times I've ever done that in my life. You go down to a gym, you see a guy sparring in the gym, you see him hitting the bag, he looks like a fucking $1,000,000. You're like, "Oh shit. This guy is good. He's the truth." Wow, he goes out in the knocked out. What the fuck was that? Under the bright lights, they're not the same person. That's why, no, I wouldn't automatically say, "Oh no, Ryan's no." I'm smart and I've been around the block more than once. Okay, let me look at you. What do you look like? Okay, pa 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 pa. All right, on fight night, I'm trying to tell you, fourth, fifth round. Let's see where he looks like. Where's his gas tank? How's he holding up? Well, and you know, that's one thing about boxing. If you didn't put in the extra work on fight night, it's going to show. You, they will expose you in that ring if you don't get lucky. You know, there have been fighters throughout the course of history that really fucked off, and they were just good fighters, man. And they went in there and knocked the guy out. But that's worse. If you ask me, that's worse. Because now, you know, your head could have been this big, right? And everybody's saying, "You're not training," and you knock the guy out, you come back and you look at everybody, you're like, hmm, bro, what are you teaching yourself? You see, you know, you're not teaching yourself that hard work did this for you. You're teaching yourself that no, I got God given talent. I can do this. You see, that's just like when I learned that you can beat God given talent with hard work and dedication. Yeah, you can. You see, because the fighter that is God gifted, right? Sometimes that doesn't work in his favor because he's so talented. He might not train as hard, right? And when you got a guy that it has is a hard worker, right? What can happen is the hard worker can see through the this guy's bullshit. Although he's really talented, a lot faster than me, even maybe even hits harder than me. Why do you think the guy that put in the most work won the fight? Case in point, Zav Judah and Tim Zoo's father there, right? Zav Judah was a lot better fighter than that man. He was faster. He probably hit just as hard as him, and he was a lot skilled. What happened? Zav Judah knew he had God gifted talent. He liked to showboat. He liked to flaunt the fact that he was God gifted, but he didn't train hard, and he didn't take and Zoo there, right? He wasn't faster. He wasn't like, but he trained hard, and he was a real fighter, and he was able to make those reads, and he was able to beat a guy that was one faster than him, better athletically, had better twitch muscle movements, better footwork. He was just better in everything. And this guy won. That's when you see hard work and dedication beat God gifted talent right there. But had Zab Judah put hard work and dedication behind what he is talent, he would have been a force to be reckoned with. He might have beat Mayweather. To be perfectly honest with you, if Zab Judah really, really took it seriously on that night, and he came in there a prime, and he had a better ring IQ. He wasn't a young, arrogant, no one's gonna beat me. Or you see how Mayweather talks to all these guys. He don't talk to me like that. His arrogance. I know it's good to be arrogant. Yeah, in the sport, you bet on yourself. No one's supposed to be better than you. I get it. But back it up. You gotta back it up. And Mayweather was the type of fighter that he had so much talent and so many different, man. He wasn't God gifted in just one thing. God didn't bless him with just speed. No, he was a real unique blend. One of Mayweather's biggest God gifted gifts that the gods gave him, right? That a lot of people don't talk about was his endurance, his gas tank. Mayweather never got tired. He can dance, do that all night, bro. For for rounds. He was one of those old school fighters. Mayweather can go 15 rounds. He could have went 15 round with like the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Marvelous Hagglers. Mayweather was on that shit. Not like these kids that are pussies that are fucking 12 round, 10th round. They're like, uh, uh. Yo, these men were gladiators back then. At the 13th round, they were still like fresh like a daisy. Like, yeah, let's get it. Talk about I'll go another 15. They were crazy, and I'm like, how the fuck are you guys like, yeah, man. So Mayweather with all his gifts, and then on top of that, his twitch muscle, cat-like reflexes. The gods gave him cat-like reflexes out of this world. Like his understanding of like distance and stuff. Listen, let me tell you something. In order for Mayweather, you have to also understand something. That in order for look, you can be given speed, stamina, power. You can be given all this. But another thing that he was blessed with, the ability to put it all together. You have to be intelligent to do that. You have to have a boxer's IQ, and it's got to be off the charts as well. That is something that, there's Ryan Garcia is incredibly fast. Does that make him the best fighter in the world? No. Hell no, it doesn't. Right? What made Floyd Mayweather was him. Everybody can get taught how to throw a punch. Why'd you throw that punch in that moment? What are you seeing? Why are you doing this? Why are you moving? Why are you stepping that way, stepping back? That's what made Mayweather Mayweather. You see, and for a man that couldn't read or write, it's not like he sat down and read countless of boxing books. No, he legitimately had to figure this shit out. His mind was that of a fighter. It was the perfect person to train. You get what I'm saying? He was born to do what exactly he did. There are a lot of people that are born to do a certain trait in this world and they never get to fulfill it. And you never see a great one shine. But every now and then you get that Michael Jordan, that Tom Brady, that Floyd Mayweather, that Naoya Inoue. And when you get it and we actually get to see it, oh, isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? And then you say, man, that's what the human body can do at its toppest level right there, bro. That's what you can do. You feel me? Not a lot of people can do what Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee can do. But when you see it done, you're like, shit, good for you, man. At least that's the way I think. You know, uh, when I see humans do regular shit, the same shit, it's not as impressive when you see somebody do some shit you've never seen before, right? You're like, oh shit, are you hanging off the side of the building on your fingertips? Now that's impressive. You know what I mean? When they do some shit like that. You know, so when I see a fighter that over exceeds my expectation and I know what I'm looking for, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching this guy fight, and I'm saying to myself, wow, man, let me go on social media and like see how good everybody's talking about this guy. And when I went on to low to but my surprise, everybody was like, he ain't no good. And I was like, holy what the hell is going on out here? And he brought me really back to boxing. I started to get my eye lifted like this, when Terrence Crawford, every now and then. But I think who are the big guys? Look, if you want to know how long he's been around, in fact, right? And it doesn't seem like he's been around for a long time now, does it? He's been in the game a little over 10 years. For God's sake, he fought on HBO. HBO? Are you fucking kidding me? There's no way he fought on HBO. And he did it. He did. I was like, damn, it feels like HBO's been gone forever, right? Yeah, it does. But yeah, he fought on HBO. It's true. Hold, I'm gonna quadruple check it, right? Because I found that I was like, what? It's on his record. They held his fight. Yeah. My man, 26 and 23 knockouts. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So how does he like keep getting his record like he getting better? Like I remember at one time he didn't knock out like four people, and mysteriously that shit just keeps getting closer. Now it's 23 and 26. Now he's only got three people he didn't knock out. I remember making a video about that, saying like he didn't knock out four. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Luis Neres, yep. His next fight, Tokyo Dome, all four belts, scheduled bout. Uh they have it on the bottom. It says schedule bonus subject to change. You know what I mean? But that's for every fight. They put that. That doesn't mean that anything's happening. So if you go to boxing record and you read that, that's for every fight, just in case something does change. That doesn't mean it is going to. Like that. So, like I was saying, uh, you know what? I forgot how the event. I think if you click the event, it will it will tell you the network too that they fought on. It says the promotional. It says Japan Boxing Commission, which the commission, Sky Arena, Japan, Saturday, August 22nd, 25th, I mean, that fight. All right, I guess I would have to go like to like his videos or whatever and then like see it. He looked away to what? What happened? Floyd was also very from the southpaw stand. Floyd, he used to tear those southpaws up. Look, um, what was a southpaw that he fought? Floyd fought southpaw fighter Ortiz. Ortiz, remember that fight, that controversial fight with Ortiz, where like um Ortiz headbutted him, and Floyd went up against the rope, right? And then Floyd went to like exchange on the hug. You want to do some dirty, grimy shit? And he knocked that boy Ortiz out. He was a lefty. Now, when he fought him, Floyd did this like this move with his shoulder, right? It wasn't necessarily the Philly roll. because he wasn't on his right side, he was on his left. This is what kind of made it impressive for me, right? So I remember Ortiz was on this. Now, this is his right hand is his jab hand. Ortiz is his jab, right? So Floyd went like this. I remember he had his hand down. Ortiz threw the jab. He rolled it like this. Hey, yo, and Floyd shot his right hand right in between, right through his jab and rocked Ortiz. That made Ortiz not throw the jab. He was reluctant to throw it because that's how he shut him down. Ortiz saw that if he threw his jab out there, a little, like a little laxy daisy maybe, but you could throw it high speed. Floyd was that good. He was that fast that he snapped him right over. He went, wow. And I remember Ortiz's expression. He went like this, and Ortiz went back. He looked confused as fuck because he didn't know how the punch hit him. No one has ever punched in between his jab while he was jabbing. And he's a lefty. Lefties usually have an advantage on right-handed fighters, not on Mayweather. Not on some of the greats, if you notice. Speaking of which, see? That's when you can tell elite fighters. This man disperses left-hand fighters like that. Marlon Tapales is the only left-handed fighter that took him a little bit of distance. That's it. He was, and this man, because to these type of men, I can imagine their egos and their arrogance inside of the gym. Whenever left-handed fighters would show up, they would say, left-handed fighter is always going to give a right-handed fighter problems. Not these psychopaths, right? Right? That he probably went into the lab and devised the perfect technique to fight left-handed fighters. He would destroy them. Boom, boom. And that same left-handed fighter would fight a right, and guys just wouldn't know how to handle it, how to do it. And the way he did it, he made it look so easy when that shit is not easy. You know, Ortiz's punch, it literally came within like here. And he was like, and then went forward while his punch was retracting. It's crazy. Ortiz's punch never landed on Mayweather's face. The jab came right over, it went right here. And he was like, and he followed it in and banged them. I was like, oh shit. Yo, the look I'll never forget that look on Ortiz's face. How stunned he was. He was like, what the fuck was that? Yo, I was like, the outcome of the fight, although controversial, I still side with my man Mayweather. Did you guys see that blatant? Yo, he went like he lunged into my man like this. Like he went, that was blatant. It was, it was, it was, it was, it was a fucking. He did it on purpose. He did on, and if he was stupid enough to, in the moment of a fight, allow your heart. Oh my! I allow my emotions in a fight to my heart. What's the rule say? What's that rule say? Protect yourself at all time. Protect yourself at all time. Knock them out. Knocked them out. Yo, that was crazy. But yeah, that was a good that's a when Mayweather used to fight lefties. He fought, you know, that's the greats do that kind of shit, all right. That's why they're elite fighters, bro. And I tell you, I was just looking the other day into Mayweather, like some of the big shots he got caught with, like the shot he got caught with um Mosley, the shot he got caught with um uh Zab Judah, Zab Judah, and the shot when he got caught with that. And like, I wanted to go back and watch the fight, and I wanted to know why Shane Mosley didn't hit him with that same shot again. He didn't set him up with that shot again. And once you watch the fight and you really pay attention to what Mayweather did, he got caught with that shot, right? And he grabbed his hand. With the second one, he got shot when his knees bent, right? When his knees went down, and he caught him with the overhand one, right? Okay. So first he catches him with this one, right? And then the second one, he catches him with this one, right? So Mayweather took both those punches away from him, and he never landed either or of those shots. Uh, Shane Mosley showed him, and he revealed his shot to him, and Mayweather figured out where he was, how close he was to him, and why he hit him in a blink of an eye. And Shane Mosley never got it to get off. And you want to know something? What I found real ironic into that fight, leading into the fight, that Shane Mosley's coach, right, and the trainer comes out and says, uh, they asked him, "What do you think is going to happen in this fight? What do you think is going to happen?" And he was like, "Want me to answer honestly?" And he says, "Yeah, tell us what do you think is going to happen?" He says, "Shane Mosley's going to hit Mayweather so hard, he's going to rock him. Mayweather is going to turn into a dragon, and he's going to win the fight." Exactly the way he said it happened. He said Shane Mosley was going to hit him, and he said if Shane Mosley doesn't capitalize on that opportunity, or basically what he was saying was in the fight, and Mayweather got out of that round, Mayweather was going to turn into a dragon, and that was it. And that's exactly what he did. Yo, he did. And it was crazy when you go back and I remember a lot of these interviews and shit. Those were some crazy moments in sports. I was looking at him when when he first said it. I was like, I was like, what's he mean by that? Fight? Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that's what you mean by. Oh, now I figured out because I spoke about Ortiz, and then you say O's is he took away two O's. Damn. Oh no, no wait. I thought that you were saying that, or that was Ortiz. Floyd was also very effective from the southpaw stance, with I find very interesting why he stopped. Um, it's just not being real comfortable. You know, you can do it, but if you don't need to do it, why could you do it? It was a weapon or something he could fall back on, but no one actually made him take it out. Same thing with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan can shoot the three, but remember when he wasn't shooting the three, what they do? The Trailblazers want to hype him up and say, "Oh, Mike, you can't shoot threes. I can't shoot threes." And he went out there and broke the fucking record or some shit that night, right? And Michael said, "I can shoot threes. I just really never had to. I can fall back on threes if I have to, but you guys never put me in a situation where I need to shoot threes. But if you want me to shoot threes, here, I'll shoot your eyes out. Whap, 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 whap." Walking down the court like this. Remember that famous video where he's like, tried Drexler was walking by him, like looking salty as fuck? Like, Mayweather can fight from the left, but if he's fucking rocking you from the right, he just didn't feel like he had to. Perhaps there were probably a lot of things Mayweather could have did in that ring. Uh, he, you just didn't put him in those kind of situations. You know, um, what fight was it that Mayweather? You see, George Foreman. George Foreman was the commentator in one of Mayweather's fights, right? and Mayweather is in the ring. He fighting, blah blah blah, and you can see the other commentators. He's hating on Mayweather, but George Foreman, he's sticking up for the brother, right? George Foreman's like basically like, I don't know what you watching, but if you want to buy some stock in this man, you better invest in him right now. And George Foreman was the guy was telling George, yo, what's he doing right now? And George said, Mayweather is punishing the side of the boxer that he doesn't train on. He says he doesn't train to fight going on his right side, right? He's a righty. So make him fight go the way that he doesn't train. Don't let him go the way he trains. Meaning, if he was a lefty or righty, make him go the other way. And you're not going to know how to fight like that. You don't train to fight like that. If you were to switch up your fighting stand in the middle of your living room, we've talked about this, that shit don't work. And when George Foreman was pointing shit like that he was doing like that out, I don't think a lot of people really appreciate what Floyd was doing at that time. Only real high level boxers knew what was going on in the ring. Everybody else was just seeing a fight. They thought they was watching two men just slug it out, and some of them look real skilled. That's basically it, right? But when you're like a boxer or a coach or a trainer, and you know what you're really, really looking for, and you're sitting there saying, and that's what makes fighters like him so special. When I'm in a maze, with his distance management and how he even makes some of the best fighters overextend just to try to touch him, you know, and I'm amazed of how he makes some fighters just make these kind of mistakes that I don't think they would normally make against no other guy. And it's because of what he's doing and fighters like this were doing in the ring. Uh, they made little movements and subtle movements seem so effortless and simple. And you were like, man, he just stepped back, went like that. No, well, if everybody understood how to just scoop the balls of their feet, get that hop in your step to only hop a certain distance, rock your chin back to avoid his punch, and at the same time come in and man, listen, these motherfuckers need to be seeing shit in slow motion, and it's happened to me. And I can legitimately say that's happened to me more than once, where the fight looked like it was slow motion. And I could just see I can't explain it. And, people have asked me, and I'm honest. And I told people, and there were fights where that I thought in the beginning of my career, right, like a street fight or something, if I was fighting, right? And then walking away from the fight, I would look at my friend and tell him, how did I do? Because I didn't remember. I didn't know what I did. If you was to take a microphone and walk up to me and go, "Hey, wait," right? I couldn't tell you how the fight went. I was looking at my boy like, and he was like, "Yo, you did great, man. You was banging him." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I did great, bro. I was banging him, bro." When I was young, I didn't know how to keep my mind focused. And that was a mental part of the fight. I needed to keep all my senses active and be aware of what's going on. That's how you get sucker punch. You're like a horse with the blinders on. You're looking at this guy so much and you get banged from the side. That's why Bruce Lee used to look down at the ground, because when you're looking down at the ground and you're not looking at your opponent, your peripheral vision is watching everything. And for some reason, you can be more like, you ever take a basketball, you're looking at the ground, but you know the rim is right there. Just try it. Go like this, look at the rim, look like that, and I've hit it. I don't know if everybody could do it. And be like, what the fuck are you doing? You're like revealing super shit. No, I ain't no Superman, right? That's just how it is, you know? And yeah. So the elite fighters, man, they they do it the best, They do it, they really do. They really do. They do it the best. And when I watch fighters like this, I learn so much. I do. I realized that there was other punches in those kind of situations that I didn't think that was an option at the time. I watch him and I'm like, shit, I could have did that, and he's figured out so much, you know. When you watch fighters, uh one like Caleb Plant, for instance, when the mistake I believe he was doing too much with David Benavidez was every time he punched, he would either go back or just shell up. When you hit him, the minute the glove hits his hand is coming back to your head. You see? Yo, subscriber, thank you for joining. Round one sports talk, baby. Thank you. I gotta see his name. It came up in blended in with my back. Sorry, I couldn't see it, but you know who you are. Thank you. You got a pop up alert. I'll go back on and check it. That shit is like this fucking big on my screen. I'm sorry about that, but yeah. Um, what was I saying? Uh, anyway, it'll come to me. So yeah, no, look. Oh yeah. So that that's why I pay attention to a lot of these guys and their forms and their technique of how they punch. They've shown me the different ways and then you start to learn like when I was learning boxing anyway, for an example, I thought that the dance had to be performed this way and that it had to look this way and I had to throw. Later on in my career, I started learning that fighting was a style that you develop. The only job is to teach you how to throw the punches. You're supposed to let it all hang out and fight the way you feel free and you put it all together. That's why my coach used to be like, yo, in the gym, you train like this, and on fight night, you fighting like this. He's like, how the fuck are you? And I used to just, I wouldn't give my sparring partners everything I had at the same time. Some of these guys were my friends, so but I would train hard, but on fight night, I would let it all go. He was like, You never did this shit in the in the gym. Where'd you learn this?" And I was like, "No, this is how I feel inside as a fighter. This is me. This is how I see it. And now you let me kick his ass. I'm gonna kick his ass." And then you start to develop that, and you start to know, and like in certain situations, there was a lot of punches that I see that they throw in the elite ones, and I'm just like, man, had I, da da, so it's always great to learn from these guys, and it's always to see the sport evolving, and these generation kids being that much more polished coming out the gate. I really enjoy that. And it's good that a lot of these boxing gyms are now opening their doors and they're actually teaching and passing down all this boxing knowledge to anyone. It used to be, if you weren't from that neighborhood and nobody knew who you were, you wasn't walking in that gym or you wasn't walking out of there with their secrets. And there were a lot of gyms were real like, but now the sport is evolving and a lot of these other countries are getting the proper equipment, the good coaching, and they're starting to, really, because you can't just go out there and give them a world class coach. It's really not going to work. And the world class coach is not going to have the patience to work with all these amateurs. That's not going to work. What you needed to do was to put amateur coaches out there first with amateur fighters and let those coaches and those fighters develop. And that's what you've been seeing. And then with a little bit, you slide in one great coach at a time into those little bit of gyms. They start to branch out, and then all of a sudden, now you got 3 or 4 gyms in those little towns and cities where there was never gyms. And that's great because the more um the more opportunity a fighter has to get to a gym, the more likelihood we'll see that fighter for who he or she could possibly be. Thank you for joining me here at Round One Sports Talk. I've been your host, Edwin. I enjoyed this episode with you guys. I always love talking boxing. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. On your way out, can you please give me a like? It helps the channel grow. And if you haven't already, click that notification bell icon so that you'll be alerted on every video that I drop. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for everything. To all my fans out there, you guys know what it is. I'm your host. Let me hit you with some.
Motherfucker. Hell yeah! Wow, is very nice.
You want to feel how hard I can punch?
I've got news for you. You're mine now. You belong to me.
Sound effects is killing them. Love you guys. And I'm on to the next video after this video here at Round One Sports Talk. Somebody else, Armando, my man, thank you. What up, baby? Nieves, my man. Thank you. Thank you. I try to do my best. You guys are the best.